And this video is going to cover the lab rules, which you should have been doing since middle school, at least, probably since elementary school. So none of those should be a shocker to you. We are going to introduce the nfpa diamond to you, which you see all over the place. That might be a little bit new to you, but we're going to talk about all these just to make sure that we all are on the same page about what is acceptable and what is unacceptable in the lab. Number one, always and forever, wear goggles at all times. If you have glasses, they go on top of your glasses. Your glasses are not an adequate substitute to goggles. Make sure you understand that. Don't even argue it, because we're going to win and you're not going to do the lab. Number two, wear closed-toed shoes to labs to prevent chemical spills and broken glass on your feet. Once again, if you have flip-flops or chacos or whatever, if I can see your toes, you're not doing the lab. It's that simple. If you want to bring closed-toed shoes and that you don't really wear anymore, keep them in the lab, that is perfectly acceptable, perfectly fine. Wear a lab apron at all times. We don't want things getting on you that are stain you or to ruin your clothes. It's preventable, so we're going to prevent it. Eating and drinking and chewing gum is not allowed. There's all kinds of junk on these lab tables. They look black. Some of them look kind of clean. There's no way we can get everything off of it. There's no way we can predict what was on there before, so just don't do it. Wash your hands before leaving. You don't want to have an acid on your hand. Go and shake your buddy's hand, and now you both have burny, acidy hands. You don't want to get contaminations in your food, because when you eat it, then you get sick. This is all just common sense. And ladies and gentlemen with long hair, please pull your hair back into a ponytail for labs. We'll have rubber bands if you need them. That's to keep your hair from going on fire. For anything that's going to produce a gas, we're going to use a fume hood. Those are located in the back of the room. We'll show you what those are when you come to class. Never put chemicals back into the stock container. If you pour something out in the glass that's too much, we'll have waste containers there for you, because the glassware is going to have contaminants in it. We don't have an autoclave to get them perfectly sterile. By pouring it back in the stock container, you've contaminated the entire container, which is a lot of money with the chemicals, which shouldn't be a problem. You shouldn't have stock containers out anyways. Always dispose of chemicals the way we tell you to, the way any teacher tells you to. Please don't just pour them down the sink. Some things, they go down the sink, they get into your drinking water, and then we get in big time trouble, and you get really sick. So just ask us what to do with it. We'll know exactly what to do with it. Smell chemicals by wafting. You've got the crazy tie-dye lab coat guy there. Shouldn't have to do it. Just brush the fumes into your nose. Don't put your nose right into the test tube, especially with ether-based solutions, because that will knock you out and you'll pass it out and hit your head on the floor. Point heated test tubes away from yourself and other people. Things tend to explode. You can't anticipate the reaction. You don't know how big it's going to be, so you always point those tubes away from you. And the big one, always add, let me get this out of the way. When you're mixing stuff, when you're diluting chemicals, you always add the acid into the water. The reason for this being, when it splashes, it will splash the surrounding solution. So when you splash it, the water will splash. If you add the water into the acid will splash and get in your eyes and all over you. So this is the safest way to do it. If you forget, think of A&W, I can't do an ampersand, root beer. Acid first, into water second. Alright, if an emergency happens, if something does happen, please alert your teacher or me immediately. If there is a spill, and it's an acid spill, you need to neutralize it with a base. The base is a baking soda. I'll show you where that is in the lab when you come to class. On the other hand, if you spill a base, most alcohol solutions, you're going to add an acid to neutralize that. That's going to be the vinegar. Once again, I'll show you all that stuff is in the lab when you come to class. If you get chemicals in your eye, you will use the eye wash station. That's what this little picture over here, this is why we wear goggles. It should never be an issue. And you have to do that, pry your eyes open and have high pressure jets squirt water into your eyes for 15 to 20 minutes. It is not pleasant. That's why we wear goggles. And if it gets on you and it's burning your arm or your shoulder, say it spills, goes down your leg, that's when you use the safety shower. Once again, we'll show you where all this stuff is when you come to class. For small fires that happen on your lab table, you can grab a beaker, And invert it. That means tip it over on top of the fire. That will suffocate the fire from oxygen and put the fire out. And if somebody is on fire, you can use a fire blanket or the safety shower, whatever is closest to you. We prefer the fire blanket because our showers don't tend to have drains. But whatever you got to do to get that fire off of your buddy, that's what you do. Okay, safety vocabulary. You do need to know this because your chemicals will have it. We'll say that this is corrosive or this is toxic. You need to know what that means. We're going to assume that you do know what it means after this video. So, corrosive means it eats away at objects. It will attack and burn your skin. So corrosive is painful. Toxic is poisonous. If you drink this or you inhale this, you will get sick. Sometimes very, very sick. Next one's easy. If it's flammable, it's easily set on fire. It could even be combustible, which means it will blow up. And carcinogens cause cancer, so you try to avoid contact on your skin and through inhalation as well. Radioactive, you're not going to use anything radioactive in here, so don't worry about it, don't freak out. But it means it's emitting radiation. Radiation will affect your DNA and causes all kinds of problems. And the last one, the allergen or irritant. This is on almost every bottle, but it can cause a rash or allergic reaction if it gets on your skin or you inhale it. Make sure you understand that vocabulary. Once again, after this lesson, you'll sign a contract saying you understand what all these mean. So your NFPA diamonds. These are the diamonds you see outside of Walmart and on the sides of big trucks. You need to know the color, what the color represents, and what the area of the rectangle or the square represents. So it goes health on the left, fire on top, reactivity on the right, and special information on the bottom. Keep in mind this is reactivity, not radioactivity. People tend to confuse those. It's how much it will react. Then you got your colors. This is all down here in the bottom left. And here's what they look like. Blue, health, red, fire, yellow, reactivity, and white, special information. Now you have numbers associated with those and some kind of special special symbols. Anytime there's a special symbol, we'll tell you what that symbol means. We don't expect you to memorize all those. For instance, the W means don't add water to it. If you add water to it, it'll explode. Or something else crazy will happen. But the numbers go in increasing order for increasing significance. So 0 is no hazard, to slight hazard, to hazardous, to extremely hazardous, to deadly. You will probably only be dealing with 0, 1, 2s. So most of the time just 0s and 1s. But you need to know the numbers, the colors, and what they mean. The W is good to know because you see that one a lot. And that's all we've got for this video. We'll get a lot more practice of this in class, like always. I went through this fast, so if you need to rewind and pause, please go ahead and do that to get your notes filled out.